good evening from me to you. Where are you listening to us from? This is still Unico 103.5 FM. I hope you're having a wonderful day. How's your day going? Are you listening to us from all 8, all 9, all 5, all 11, all 6, all 2? Or is it Florence to be hostel? Are you listening to us from all 3, all 6, all 5, all 4, or Malabo Republic? Or are you listening to us from the comfort of your home? Wherever you're listening to us from, or you're driving back home, or you get while you're still at work, it's a beautiful good evening from me to you. And yes, listening to that tone, you know what time it is. It's about 10 minutes past the hour of 6, and it is time for one of your favorite shows, The Health Hub. I won't be doing this alone. I'll be doing this with beautiful guests in my midst. My name is Michelle, and yes, I'm sitting in for Vine because he's unavoidably absent. But like I said, I won't be doing this alone. I have with me in my company Chelsea. Chelsea, say hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. I also have a beautiful guest that will be taking us through on today's show. I'll be riding with us, and she's no other person but I had the introduction by herself.
Thank you for having me. I'm Leo Lion Esther Meswa, the
Oh,
immediate past district president of Leo District 4 for East Nigeria, a member of Lions Club International. Wonderful good evening once again to you.
just listening to that voice, man, you know that you're in for a lot of ride. Yeah, she's here to take us on a beautiful ride, and I believe, or I'm saying that, yes, it's going to be amazing because today's topic is actually one that is really interesting and sort of overlooked in the society today, and we are talking about volunteering in the health space. But I don't know why the health sector is actually, chosen today, but we're going to look at volunteering as a whole and most importantly in the health space. So Esther is here to take us on that ride on today's episode or episode 3 of the Health Hub. So moving forward, Esther, I would like you to tell us how it feels like to volunteer for a non-profit organization.
It's a wonderful feeling. It's awesome, and you will agree with me, it is fulfilling because having to contribute your quota to the society where you have the consciousness that you're not going to be paid for is definitely something that's it's passionate, and you must be compassionate to be able to execute that. So I must say it's really wonderful that we have been able to be a part of positive impact in the society. So the feeling is fulfilling. That's the best way to describe it.
Amazing. Amazing.
So this episode was necessitated because of what Dr. Chinwe said last week about how non-healthcare personnel could volunteer in the healthcare space. So we decided who better to host today's show than a volunteer who is not necessarily in the healthcare space. So can you tell us what specific skills that one will need to handle or to have to volunteer? Because some people say, oh, volunteering is not for everyone, it's not for me. So if I want to volunteer, what skills will you tell me that I have to handle or have to possess before I could be able to volunteer? Basically, for you to be able to volunteer, you don't need to be a skilled person before you will be able to volunteer. So the basic skills you need is one, passion and compassion. You know this is something you're not going to be paid for. So definitely has to be an inborn thing. Another thing is you have to possess time management skills. Because for you to be able to volunteer and combine it with your other activities heading your day, you must possess the time management skill. Another very, very key thing you need to possess as a volunteer is the ability to communicate. Proper communication, because the persons you're going to meet, communication is not all about speaking the good English. You need to realize the environment you are. If you have to switch to mother tongue, if you have to switch to pidgin, just for you to drive home your message. So a volunteer needs a good communication skill. Basically, for me, if you put these three key things together, you don't need any other thing to become a volunteer. That's it.
Amazing. I really appreciate the way you have sort of highlighted those things. But yes, I think you've actually pinched on one thing, but I would say I have to ask you this question to elaborate. So, what would you consider as the toughest aspect of volunteering?
The toughest aspect of volunteering is getting the resources.
Okay.
I'm not going to be paid for this. I need resources to put this together. So, whatever project we have decided to embark on in the health sector, we need funds for it. We're not new to times we have found ourselves. So, getting to garner resources to execute whatever activities we're going to be volunteering and any environment we find ourselves has been the toughest challenge, because it is not really easy to talk to persons to get them to fund this, especially when it is not a well grounded or established NGO, or however you want to put it. Getting funding has been the toughest part of it. Then, most persons cannot actually carry your vision. So, for you to sell your vision to someone and get that person to finance and support, might not necessarily be money. Other resources, maybe the items you need, the manpower too. So that has been the toughest aspect of volunteering for me.
All right.
Okay, so speaking on finances, could you tell us an example of a project you handled as a volunteer that maybe cost finances and how you're able to pull through with it?
Okay, I'd like to talk about two key projects we had taken care of, which required us to raise funds for it. First of all, I'd like to talk about the project we had here in the host community of this radio station, which is at the Malabo Republic, where we engaged students in diabetes screening, sensitization. We did a lot of tests, the sugar tests, we calculated students' BMI, we did recommendation. To get the funding for that was not easy, because as at the time we celebrated or we carried out that project, it was towards when we had the International Day for Diabetes, November 14th. So a lot of resources were already pulled in there. And then having to diversify, we want to inculcate the young persons into this screening. Let it not only be that diabetes screening is for the elderly. We have young persons who are actually suffering from some of this sugar related diseases. So that was very, very challenging, but thankfully we pulled through. And we're not only asking for money. If you can give us the sugar test kits, we're fine. If you can give us gloves, we're fine. If you can give us your sphygmomanometers, we're okay. We'll return it at the end of the exercise. So that was one of it, and that was not really cost implicative. It was minimal. Then the second one we just concluded was providing an accident emergency center at Odupane local government area, Akumakam to be specific. That was financially high. So we had to write to companies who have their heavy duty trucks ply that road. We made them see the need to have this facility at such a strategic place. We wrote to the community. We carried out our needs assessment. So we were able to communicate with them that, look, you don't have any of this facility. The least you have is a health post. So this is coming to you. You need to be a part of it. So we included all stakeholders. And then by the time, at our own part, we raised the funds from Lions International members and other persons. When people began to saw that the project was already in earnest growing, it was easy to bring people in. So the basic thing there is you yourself should be able to start up something so you can drag the necessary attention to it. So by the time we got started with the little fund we had from our fundraising event, it was now easy for the construction companies, the individuals, the community to put hands together with us. And then, to the glory of God, the edifice was built, completed, and then we also had to bring in primary health care there, where you have the ANC, where you have immunization services. So we don't just hope and expect accidents every day. So that was the second project we carried out, and it was a successful one.
I must really commend you. This is actually giving us like a new face to volunteering, because not everyone sees volunteering as something that it's worth giving their time and effort. In short, generally, we know how people look at volunteering. When you just tell someone, yeah, come do this job for free, we're like, I don't come to work for anybody like that. Or I came because I for the money you get, and you're already making it look like, okay, it is worth the effort, it is worth the risk, it's worth everything, and that is really commendable. So on to the next question I want to ask is like, what's the role of volunteering in today's society?
In today's society, the role of volunteering can never be overemphasized. If you look around, truly the government cannot do it alone. Volunteers, different NGOs, partner organizations have been able to help and assist create positive impact in our communities. And the beautiful thing about volunteering is it is being taken to the grassroots, to the people who actually are in need of this. So you cannot overemphasize it. It has created positive impact in our community. It has been a great support system to the government. If you talk about provision of amenities, where you have boreholes every here and there, even up to the point that volunteer organizations have built health facility and handed over to the government, that has been a total relief and help. And it has also given everybody a sense of inclusion, that in our today's society we should not just leave it alone for the government. As an individual, as a group of persons, we can actually be positive impact and contribute to our society. So volunteering has really created positive and outstanding impact in environmental change, the structures we have, source of livelihood, betterment of health. So there has been a lot, and then it's perfect positive impact. That's it.
Okay, so what are the challenges of volunteering? What would you say is a major challenge in volunteering?
There are several challenges that, I mean, this is me speaking from a first-hand experience. First of it is minimal resources. A lot of persons do not want to invest in volunteering groups because of fear of embezzlement. So having to get resources has been a problem. Two, having too many volunteers or having too few volunteers, that has been a challenge. When you have too many, you might not have that exact direct focus. If you do not have the organizational skill to put all together, the spillover becomes a problem for you. Then when you have too few, you cannot really cover what you wish or what you planned out to cover. So that has been a challenge. Then the emotional dependency from the volunteers. You go to a place, you just went there to do one project and leave. You find yourself getting emotionally attached, and then getting people being emotionally dependent on
Dependent.
you. You've already provided support. So as a person, this wasn't the intention. I really don't have the ability to cater for everybody. It gets to weigh you down emotionally. So that's been a challenge of volunteering. Then we also have volunteer burnout. I am exhausted. I can't do it all alone. So that has been a challenge. And then another one is getting overworked. As a volunteer, like we already know, it's few hands on deck. So the few hands on deck can get overworked, and then it becomes a very big challenge for the activity. So those are the few that are majorly problems I've encountered during volunteering activities.
That's really massive. Just what do you have to say about that?
It's the overwork thing that really got to
I'm
me, because
telling
it's
you.
actually easy to burn out when you are doing a lot of things, and you have
Yeah.
people who say, "Oh, I have this family issues, I'll not be able to work." So you end up taking their part of their job and adding it to yours. So I have another question to ask you, but that will be after we come back from our break. We're going to go on a very short break.
All right, welcome back from the short break. And if you're just tuning in, this is Unicorn Radio International 103.5 FM. It is a health hub show, and we already have our guest who is already giving us like a whole lot of information. So if you're just tuning in, I'll still keep welcome on board because yes, we still have a lot of questions to ask, and I know she has a lot to still dish out. So before we went on the break, she has actually talked about the challenges people face or as she has faced as a volunteer. So I'm about to ask her, as a volunteer, have you ever felt that your work has gone unappreciated?
I have
Very good
never
question.
felt that
That's a very good
way.
question.
I have never, for once, in all honesty, felt that way because of the experience you have out there. There are lots of thank you, the lots of God bless you, the lots of you have done well. It's ways of that feeling that I wasn't paid for this, I have not been appreciated, I have not been awarded. There's no appreciation, there's no award that is greater than thank you, God bless you in the field of volunteering. So I have never felt that way. You see the genuine smiles you put on people's faces. People get to tell you, I never thought young persons could come this far to reach us. You begin to reason, so I'm actually valuable, I've actually added value to somebody's life. So that alone pays so much more than money could have paid. So I have never for once felt that way.
Amazing. So, this is we saying that if you've ever contemplated or you've ever like have it in your thoughts that you want to take up a volunteering role, we have Esther here telling you that yes, it's a good decision and you shouldn't back down. Yes, I mean Chelsea, what would you say?
You shouldn't back down.
Okay, so
I'm going back to the challenges you said because it's really like a big deal. I'm a student or someone is a worker. How do I navigate or balance volunteering and my personal life? Because if I'm going to be burnt out sometimes or overworked sometimes, how do I mesh both of them to be able to have equal relationship with all? So how do I balance the both of them?
First of it, you need to have, like we said earlier, one of the skills is time management skills. That helps you decipher between the times when I have to be in school and the times when I have to volunteer. So creating a proper timetable will help you be able to outline what I want to do at a specific time. So I think in fact, I know proper time management will help you sort out yourself. Of course, you can't be there every time. Let us be very
Sure.
factual and truthful. So then you also have to set your priorities right. I'm a student. It won't be I have exams for 9 a.m. and I choose to go volunteer by 9 a.m. I just shot myself on the leg. I'm not going to graduate probably. So because I'm a volunteer doesn't mean I won't go and take my exams. So you need to set your priorities. Those two ways you've been able to manage yourself. Then also you need to plan your resources. Doesn't mean because you're a volunteer you take your school fees and go for volunteering activity hoping that manna falls from above. I don't think that will happen. So manage resources, manage your time, and then you are able to set your priorities right. That way you manage yourself properly, and then you'll be able to get a balance between your volunteering activities and your day-to-day activities.
okay. Okay, so I want to still dwell on the challenges a little bit. So
Let's go.
but this time around it's going to be like when you were handling the health project.
Okay.
So what were the obstacles or challenges you faced when you were handling the health project and using this this school as a place yes as an example. So what are the obstacles you actually faced or encountered?
Okay, this question is more like a reality check for me. First and foremost, getting into University of Calabar, I was told I have to speak with the students through their head at Malabo, else I might not be able to get their attention. So that was community entry
Yeah.
for me. You cannot just come in here and then gather people. You
People.
won't get the result.
Sure.
So, and then being that I didn't school here, I had to start making phone calls, ask questions, and then I was led to the famous Malabo Republic. You get to talk to this person, you get to talk to that person, and then they said, "Okay, you're welcome." They came up, helped around. So community entry was one of the challenges we neglected, but thank God we surmounted it. Then another thing was trying to get the students to give you listening ear, because everybody that is coming out is either going to class, heading somewhere, going to the printer's place. So having to get their attention was something we had to surmount. The way we, young persons, they need to be something attracting them.
Yes,
So we
true.
created flyers and all of that. So there were everybody on ground. We spread all across.
Yeah.
So that way you were able to get them to come in. Then, of course, the almighty resources. Getting resources, because we're expecting the numbers. We're in a school community. Once you start and then it's going well, one person will put a call to the other. And then we had the hostel heads who go in, call people that are in the hostel. So we even ran out of materials. We had to, thank God we had someone very much there on ground who
Okay.
offered to be a part of us voluntarily. So that was it. After those three, we did not encounter any other challenges.
Okay.
Amazing.
So, what would you say are the benefits of volunteering? Like, if I come to say, oh, I want to volunteer, but I don't know how it's going to impact my life, I don't know the essence of volunteering, what would you tell me are the benefits of volunteering?
Okay, volunteering comes with a lot of benefits. First, I preach to people is the fulfillment you have. That is in it, and it's an experience that you cannot really tell. I can't share. I might not be able to express how I feel until I have felt it.
Yeah.
So the fulfillment that you have been able to do something positive for somebody is one benefit of volunteering. Another benefit is it improves your social life and social networking. You get to meet new persons, get to interact with new communities, new environments. That sharpens your social skills and will also help you apply that knowledge in other aspects of your life. Another very important benefit of volunteering is the ability to commit to community development and positive impact. Imagine as a young person that I'm not even earning so much, but I have been able to contribute my quota to my community. It must not necessarily be my community. I have been able to contribute my quota to a community. And then, peradventure, I'm even thanked for it. I'm even applauded for it. That is a benefit of volunteering. And there are lots other of benefits. Volunteering helps you develop your communication skills. Communication skills entails talking to a different audience at a different time. You go to a particular place, the audience is different. Your ability to communicate and drive home the message you took to those persons is a great benefit that you might not even be able to study it in school. So it sharpens your communication skills. That is a huge benefit of volunteering.
Yeah, I know there are so many.
Yeah, there are so many.
I know the
Yeah, to
list is
mention but a
endless.
few.
Yeah, the list is endless. But
Yeah.
okay, coming from a volunteer's point of view, also the benefit is endless, and I could say that it's best you look beyond, or would I say yes, beyond the pay that may come or that's going to be attached to a particular job, and look out for experience and see how you can build your social circles and all of that. Because I know that a lot of people be like I said earlier, um, think about have you thought about volunteering for volunteer? No, many people kick against it. But I actually tell people that the best way to grow is actually giving up yourself. Be selfless when it has to come to, or when it comes to service. Serve people first before you start thinking of the financial gain that will come
Gratification that
into it.
comes with it.
Exactly. So yes, that's benefit. I can actually relate with it. Chelsea, do you have anything to say?
With benefit, I think you could also say, like, you could always add it to your CV. You could
Sure.
say, I did this and this when I was in university. It could serve as your internship. So when you go looking for jobs, when you add it to your CV, you have more advantage than your peers who did
Yeah.
not engage in volunteering opportunities.
And if we look at it today in today's society, you say people look out for, especially like you mentioned the CV. If they look at your CV and they have not seen any volunteer roles, I'm sorry, they won't even consider you as someone who is selfless, because you're looking at CV and okay, you've worked. What about the selfless service to the community and all of that? So it's actually a lot. And I think, yes, from what we've heard from you, Esther, it's a different picture right now. And I hope our listeners are actually gaining from this. Volunteering is not it's not something that, how would I put this? It's not, even if it's tiring at times, but it's something that you can benefit a whole lot from. Yes. And I would say give it a try. So, coming to wrapping up the session, I want to ask you, or want to say, what would be your advice to young or future volunteers?
My advice to young persons is let us be a useful part of our society.
I love
Like
that.
that.
Yes, let us be a
I
useful
love
part of our
that.
society. With these little things, yes, we are useful to our society. Let us not just sit down and be at the backlash end. So, for young persons, engage in volunteering activities, be a useful part of the society, creating positive impact in our society. Like she has stated, your CV will clearly speak for you that yes, you have been able to give out. So I'm encouraging every young person out there to be part of a volunteering team. You'll be grateful you did. And let us also take the notion off our minds that I have to be skilled for me to be a volunteer. No, there are lots of services you don't need skills to do as a volunteer. So this is an open invitation to every young person out there to be a volunteer today, and then I'm sure you will also be smiling, and then you will reap the benefits of volunteering.
Of course, their future will thank them.
Yeah.
Of course, their future will thank them. So I really want to appreciate the time, and well, with the information you've dished out, I have learned. I don't know about Chelsea though, but
I've
I
learned a lot.
have. So it has actually been really interesting, and I wish we could stay longer. You get, because I know people will really love to, like, okay, ask questions. You get, but we'll be doing that when we come back from the short break. To open our phone lines. So in case you have questions for Esther, the number to do that is 09069880789. I'll call the number again, 09069880789. You can send us a WhatsApp message to 08094444058. 08094444058. So at least with based on the advice you've listed, and the challenges we've also talked about based on volunteering, what's roles or what places can you all, like, kind of tell people to, like, look out for when they want to volunteer?
Well, looking out for where to volunteer, there are different non-governmental organizations out there. You can belong to any. And the good thing is, not all of them do the same thing. So your interest and your passion can always be carried on along by the one you choose. So you do a careful research. There are NGOs that talk about health like we are talking today. They are the ones that are concentrating on the environment, which we know the environment is of major concern to us. There are NGOs that are volunteering towards making young girls get better livelihood. There are NGOs for market women. There are NGOs for farmers. That's the agricultural sector. So it is diversified. So you can't say I'll be I'll be in a confined space. So you can actually pick from where your passion lies. Someone is passionate about the health sector, volunteer within that sector. We are passionate about people having good livelihood. There are NGOs all spread across the country, the states, even on campus. I'm certain there are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please,
And just like our topic today has to focusing on the health, volunteering in the health space. So you won't just have to say that, okay, maybe because I didn't do a course that is health related. So with what you said, I think we can just volunteer anywhere, in
yes,
as much as we set our minds to it, right?
yes.
No, I
Chelsea.
don't think you should have any special skill to volunteer. If you just make up your mind, oh, today I'm going to volunteer, I'm going to try out, and you start. I think from there you decide, okay, I like this aspect, I'm going to go into this aspect. I don't
Yeah.
like this, I won't go here. But like, there's no special skill you should have to volunteer. Just have the mind and the passion for it, and you actually learn to love volunteering.
And the truth is, volunteering is actually sweet. You get, because but I don't know why people just
Maybe
you
the
know
term volunteer. If you say
okay.
helping, it will be better.
Volunteering is actually sweet because when you see that you're giving out your best or putting out the idea you have out there and people are actually appreciating it. You see, I don't know, there's this inner contentment and the fulfillment because Esther has mentioned that you just have this different feeling like you're on top of the world. I don't know if people feel that way because I do feel that way when I give
Yes.
myself out, So volunteering is actually really sweet, and I really implore every other persons out there listening to us that give it a try. Volunteering is something you can actually benefit from. I think we're trying to have a call, but until then. So, yes, if you're still joining us or you're just joining us, this is Unicorn Radio 103.5 FM. And we are here with Esther, who has been talking with us on volunteering in the health space. I am not doing this alone, of course. I have my beautiful co-host here with me, and the person of Chelsea. And so we have been talking about volunteering.
As a non-medical personnel, as a non-health personnel, how can you be able to volunteer in the health spaces? And Esther has told us a lot that you don't need to necessarily have any skill, just have the passion, the love, and just that, and you figure it out yourself. Also, if you are like in school, you don't have any friends, volunteering will help you gain friends. I know I've made friends whilst volunteering. They become a part of my life. So you could start by that and build your communication skills. You hear people say, "Oh, I didn't know how to speak in public
Yeah.
until I joined
This.
this group."
Okay,
and
that's
now I
actually my
can
story.
speak."
Okay, that's actually my story because yes, I was this person. I'm a very shy person, truthfully, and I had this fear of crowd. So when I had the opportunity to volunteer in a particular industry, it wasn't easy, but at some point I got to realize that I have gained the confidence I didn't know I had deep within.
Yes.
And that was because it's as a result of volunteering and I was willing, and just like you made mention, passion. I had passion for the job, and I actually told myself, no matter what, no matter the obstacles, no matter the challenges, I must learn this. And yes, it actually helped me. And so when I was called upon to like address not just any person, so guys, I'm talking about doctors here, I'm talking about professors, and I was standing in their midst, and I was to address the crowd. I was like, this is me flowing. And before I couldn't do this. So yes, this is one benefit of volunteering, I would say. Okay, guys, if you're just tuning in and you want to be a part of this conversation, the number to do so is 09069880789, or you can send us a WhatsApp message on 08094444058 about volunteering. What do you think volunteering is? And what has been your take? Do you have any experience? Would you like to share with us? Or would you like to ask our guests questions? Well, the number to do that is 09069880789. Or you can send us a message on 08094444058. We'll be going on a short break and we'll be back soon. Welcome back. This is still Unico 103.5 FM, and we are still on Health Hub, episode 3 to be precise. And yes, you've actually missed a lot, but you can always watch this on our YouTube channel. Just log on to go to YouTube, subscribe to Unico Radio, and you can find this and watch it, or you can join the live session that is going now to join the show. So we have a question here from, okay, name withheld, and the question said, hi everyone at Unico Radio, amazing show you have there. Okay, my question here is, can someone have a specific goal for volunteering?
Can someone have a specific goal for volunteering? Yes. First of all, to be a volunteer, you need to define your purpose.
Okay.
What do I want to do? Why am I volunteering? So you can, yes, define your specific goal as a volunteer. You want to improve the livelihood of a particular community. You know you will centralize your efforts there. You want to improve the healthcare system. You need to define, is it the primary system? Is it the secondary? Is it the tertiary? So as a volunteer, I think the first thing is you should even define a goal. What do I hope to achieve as a volunteer? So once you're able to define the purpose of your volunteering services, it becomes a driving force that leads you to your destination.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so we have another question here. This one says her name is Monica. She's chatting us or sending us a message from Etagbo Layout. She says that, okay, this is her relating her experience, saying that she actually has the spirit of volunteering, but she actually found herself in a work environment that wasn't conducive. It was sort of having high rates, angry bosses and colleagues. And so that was like um, a diminishing or let's say a point of a return, or how do we put this?
Turn off.
Yes, a turn off for her. So this actually made her, called off or maybe she didn't pursue that goal of volunteering. So what can we tell Monica right here?
And we will tell Monica to take the bold step to be a volunteer. Volunteering, in a sense, helps curb depression
Okay.
and self troubles, because when you go out there, the little time you're squeezed out, you have that inner feeling that I've been able to do something good today. I
Okay.
bet you it's going to take off the whole stress from work.
Okay.
You won't even remember that you are having hiccups at your job. So some persons even take the volunteering services as a therapeutic process for them. It's healing and is worth the experience. So Monica, we're encouraging you, despite what you face, at your little time, try to experience it and see the effect on you.
And I'll also say, try to overlook. Yes, we know that the workspace is actually not easy. There are people who can get on your toes and on your nerves. But yes, if it's something you can, speak out, you speak out and free your mind and then continue. In as much as there's a reason why you're there, let that thing be your goal so that you can get it. Chelsea, do you have
It's also
anything?
not easy. It's actually not easy because I could go, oh, you're not paying me. This is my free time. I'm just
Yeah.
here to volunteer, and you're like trying to bully me or trying to talk down at me or trying to shout at me. I'm just like, you're not paying me. Let me just pack my bag and go. But remembering why you are volunteering is actually very essential. You could just say, I'm just here not for people. I just want to do this because of my belief, my goals. So always remembering why you're volunteering will help you to be able to curb such.
Okay, so someone is directing this question to you, Esther. It says, what are your motives to volunteer? Like the volunteering, you're into volunteering. What are your motives you get? Or what is motivating you to do this job?
What is motivating me is, I had mentioned it before, I have been a positive impact to the community. I have been a useful aspect of my community. Besides, if I wasn't a volunteer, I don't think I would have the opportunity to be speaking live with you here at this radio
Exactly.
station. Yeah, so this alone keeps me going, and then you see that the results are rolling in.
Yeah.
That alone is a motivation to keep up the work. So that's it.
Exactly. And this is where, at least you've heard from Esther's experience. If she did not volunteer, would she have anything to give out? The answer is no. And as it is often said, you cannot give what you don't have. So this is me saying take the bull by the horn and get into that space wherever it is you want to do whatever, whether it's the health sector, the media sector, whatever, wherever. You can always do this once you're determined to do it. Chelsea, what would you say?
There's a volunteer in everyone. Just have to figure it out.
True,
Yes.
true. So Esther, this is we wrapping up. So what are you going to say? I know you said this before, but I want you to like re-echo it to those who just joined in.
Like, let us make it a way of life, and
Yes.
then we'll see that the place will be better for each and every one of us.
And this is me quoting Esther. It says, "Be a useful part of our society." It's actually been a beautiful one and a wonderful one here at the studio with you, Esther and Chelsea. So we'll be calling it a day. I hope you benefited and I hope you also learned because I did. And until we come your way again, but we'll be leaving you for academic lectures with Mr. Anderson coming your way soon. It's still your girl Michelle and I have Chelsea and it was actually a blast. So still we'll come your way again, same time next week Tuesday by 6. Keep it locked with Unicorn Radio.